Good afternoon, Ark of Cherubs. I hope this video finds everyone in tip-top shape and everyone feeling well and doing well. And we got through the storm last night. Yeah, that was a crazy windy storm. The wind was blowing, the rain was coming down, and it was just quite an interesting evening. But thank God there was no tornadoes or anything that caused. I know there's some lights probably went out in this around the state, and I hope your lights didn't go out, and I hope that if they did, that they're restored this morning. So it's a beautiful day. It's an afternoon, and I know that I meant to be out this morning, but busy again. Anyway, the morning got away from me, but I just wanted to make sure that I did not get to you tonight because it is Bible class night, so that means it would really be a bedtime story. So I wanted to make sure that I did our video early enough so that if you get to watch it before you go to bed tonight. And we just want to continue to think about what goes into your body. I want you to think about it, children. I want you to think about what you're letting go into your body. And you may not drink beer or wine or alcohol or take drugs, but there's other ways you can harm your body too. And as I said, eating too much fast food like McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts, and especially those culottes, oh my goodness, that is like a pound of sugar, it seems like. It's so tasty going down, but it's just not healthy for the body, children. And so I just hope that we be mindful that we just don't do things in excess. Moderation, taking our time on how and what we eat, okay? And that's why moms and dads are trying to get you to eat your vegetables and eat the healthy food and not just junk food, because I love chips. Miss Pam can eat a whole bag of Lay's potato chips in one sitting. Really, the big bag. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it's something you just have to have control over. So it's not bad to eat a few chips here and there, or a cookie here and there, or some ice cream. But when you overdo it, it just causes you to have extra weight that really is not healthy for your body. It makes your heart work a little harder. Sometimes we get diabetes from it. Sometimes our blood pressure can go up. So there are different things that happen to different parts of our bodies that we only get one of. Remember, I told you that yesterday. One body, that's it. Don't abuse it. Take good care of it. And God has a lot to say about what goes into your body. He wants you to take care of your mind and your brain, and so that your eyes and your ears and your legs and your arms and your feet, everything can work. And sometimes we do things to ourselves that causes a lot of problems. And so God did not create our bodies so that we could abuse them. Don't abuse your body. It's a temple of God. It's where the Word of God dwells. It lives and is alive inside of you, the Spirit of God. I'm just begging you, children, instead of taking things into our bodies that can harm it, or even kill us, we have to really think about looking for ways to glorify God, to honor Him with our bodies. He wants us to take good care of it. He wants us to honor Him. James, the writer of one of the books in the New Testament, we talked about James because James was the one also who talked about the tongue, and he talked about how what we say coming out of our mouth. He was very, very practical about how we should use our tongues and our mouths. But he says, to him who knows to do good. Now listen to this. If you know to do good and you don't do it, it is to him a sin. So if you know it's not good for you to eat certain things because maybe your doctor even said something about it, you know it's not good. But if you do it, then it becomes a sin to you because you're not taking into consideration what you're supposed to do. So it's good for you to know to do good. And it's like, say, for instance, if you see somebody who needs help and you know you should help that person, but then you don't do it, that's the wrong thing. That's a sin. That's missing the mark of God, okay? If we want to avoid sinning, we should concentrate on doing what is good. Now you can find that scripture that I just said, that for him to know to do what is good and does not do it is a sin. You can find that in James chapter 4 and verse number 17. And when we don't concentrate, we should concentrate on doing what is good. Remember I said in one of the other lessons last week, dwell or think of these things, whatever is good, whatever is lovely, that Philippians chapter 4. Yeah, verse number 8. Yeah, that's what we want to think about. We want to think about good things. We want to concentrate on things that are going to help us. So we should concentrate on doing what is good, and that certainly includes taking care of the bodies that God gave you, children. That, I think if you think about it this way, that if you realize that your body, God gave it to you, then perhaps you would take care of it a little bit more. It's just like if you borrow something from someone, you may borrow their rollerblades, or you may borrow their jump rope, or you may even borrow a piece of clothing. And then you give it back to them all torn up or broken. They're not happy with you. They're very upset. Well, just think of it that way. God has given us these beautiful bodies, and so he wants us to make sure that we're taking good care of these bodies. And that means putting the good food in. That means eating and drinking and getting good night's sleep, getting to bed, children. Our bodies need rest. And the more you rest, the more your brains are growing. I want you to know this. This is a top secret. It's not really, because a lot of grown-ups know this. Your brain grows until you are about 25 years old. So your brain is still growing. It's growing every day. None of you are 25. None of you are even 19 yet. But guess what? Your brain, even when you're a grown-up at 21, your brain still isn't fully grown. You still have 4 more years to go. It takes the brain until about 25 years to be fully developed. So children, please, Miss Pam's brain is old. It's not getting anything new. Except I do learn new things and how to do it. But it's a brain that is definitely on the decline. Okay, anyway, we won't talk about Miss Pam's brain. But just think, your brain is not fully mature until you're 25 years old. Ask your mom. Ask your doctor. Your pediatrician will tell you that. And a pediatrician, just in case you don't know, is just a doctor that's for children. So, I want you to remember, if you want to avoid sinning, then you have to concentrate on doing what is good, and that taking care of the bodies that God gave us. And if we do what is right, we can avoid many bad diseases, illnesses, or other circumstances. Okay, children? You can avoid a lot of sickness and a lot of illnesses if we take care of the bodies that God has given us. So I hope that you have been enjoying the YouTube videos. And just think, you can always go back and review them and learn a lesson again and think about what is it that God has to say about the particular subjects that we have been talking about. What does God, children, have to say about how we treat and what goes into our bodies? That's this week's lesson. We'll wrap it up on Thursday, and then Friday we'll look forward to our Zoom. We will gather together for our last Zoom virtual Ark of Cherubs summer program 2020. And I hope again, children, that you've enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't joined us, please join us. And remember, even though we didn't get to gather this summer, that we were praying for each of you. We were praying for our families, that things would work out. We were praying for you during the school year. And we will continue to pray for you as we get ready to wrap up the summer and school begins. And some of you don't know how it's going to take place. But no need to worry, children. Don't worry about it. Just know that God will make a way for you to get your lessons, and that you have to just take the time to realize it's a different way to learn, but it's okay. It's okay. Some of you may go to school half of the time, and others may go to school online and just continue with the video and the lessons with the online classes. But whatever way, remember, take care of yourselves and be safe. I want to remind you of our word of the day. Yesterday's word began with a what? Absolutely, it began with A. And so today, what will it begin with? You got it, Ark of Cherubs. It begins with a B. And this word is so appropriate for today because it was what would describe last night. Bluster or blustering. To blow in a stormy way. Did you hear that wind? Did you get to see the effects of the wind? You couldn't see the wind, but you could see the effects of the wind. The trees were blowing. Some came down. Some people lost power last night. But whatever it was, I hope that everything worked out well for you and your home and your family, because it was definitely a blustering evening. It was blowing in a stormy way last night. And so, bluster. I like that word, bluster. And so, children, keep on studying your word of the day. Keep on looking at the videos and learning about what God says about different matters. Keep listening to your parents. And also, children, this is a time, as I said, for you to be learning new things. And if you want to learn new things, you've got to put in the work. You've got to do it. This is a creative time. You can be very creative. You can learn to be a better reader. You can be a better artist. You can be a better math student. You can be a better science person. You can be a better in shape because you're doing exercise and you go, wow, we're getting it done. Yes, children, it's a good time. Like I said, Miss Pam even got into some things this summer. Bird feeder, loving it. My plant that's growing magnificently, and I hope to get to show you the fruit of what I get from it, my squash, and then my art project, my book. I mailed it today to New York. It was due August 15th, so I am 10 days before the deadline. Yay! So, I'll let everyone know when they can look at my work, the artwork I did from my photography for this project that I enrolled myself in back in April. And so, children, you just never know how creative you are. Miss Pam really didn't realize that she had an artsy way about her until she sat down and just sort of let her mind flow. And so that's what I want you to do. And whether it's making jewelry or gimping or sewing or yarning or knitting, whatever it is, children, have fun. Learn something new. Don't be